Okay, it says I'm live. My name's Brian. This is my little show. Uh, I don't know if this is really going to work here on Facebook or YouTube or not. But again, my name's Brian, and I do a little show. What I want to talk about, uh, excuse me, right now is to a guy named Jack or Jake Ducey. He's a good dude. He talks really well, and I believe in what he's teaching. But this last broadcast that I seen of his, well, post really, not a broadcast. He said I'll Jake Ducey. I just want to say that I am truly sorry to hear about Bob Proctor, your mentor and friend. Just remember, he is never really gone. And I am also sorry to hear about your grandmother. I just want to add to this is that I just lost my mother almost a year ago. So I'm still dealing with that. But I just want to say that uh, on the broadcast that I saw you make, well, not broadcast, but post, where you say you're gonna, well, you and your company or your team or whatever you wish to call it is gonna cut prices for a course, your 10K course, while cutting prices down to $997 is still out of reach of a lot of people, especially people like me who are on a fixed income and, with all honest and God's truth, can never afford it. You know, I'm trying to lift myself up. I'm trying to do the best that I can with what I have. The equipment you see here took me a year to get. I only get $750 a month to live on because I'm disabled. I wrote that on one of your or one of your videos that you've posted on YouTube. But yeah, people like me just can't afford $997 for a course. And a lot of times it seems like you you bash other so-called gurus that charge money like that for learning materials and yada 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 yada, and yet you're doing the same thing that those other people did. You know, that's all. That's just I'm just saying that. I don't mean to be mean or rude or anything to you because I do believe in you, and I do believe in what Bob Proctor was teaching. But a little bit of my own personal story. I never got to finish school because I was hit by a car and laid in a coma for a year. And when I come out of it, I had to learn to walk, talk, and all that all over again. I had to be watched for, I think it was 5 years, because I would take, I call it zoning out. I don't know if you understand what I mean. And it's hard to explain to people if you've never gone through it. It still happens sometimes to me. I'll just be standing there and it's like it, it's hard to explain, but it took me close to 25 years of my own fighting my own demons and everything by myself to get as healed as I am so far. But like I said, I never got to finish school. I tried to go back. I tried to go when the GED place was down here, probably what, about 4 blocks away. I tried 7 times to get down there and get my GED. But every time they would shut me in that little room, I would literally break out into a sweat, and you could what was his name? Lemansky, the teacher, Mr. Lemansky. He saw one day, literally just saw underneath my coat, my heart just beat and jumping. My coat and everything was he's like, "Brian, you better get out of here. Just go home and we'll try again if you're able to." 7 times I did that. I just couldn't sit in that room locked up and well, it wasn't locked, but I would take severe panic attacks. And today I still take them sometimes, not as frequent and not as bad as they have been. But people say, "Well, why didn't you go talk to anybody?" Well, 1, I don't drive. I still can't sit behind the wheel of a car. Now, you put me on a motorcycle, I can go, but I cannot sit behind the wheel of a car for some it's still, um and sometimes even now, when I get into a room full of people, I have to leave, I can't stay there. It's like I pick up so much information, waves or whatever you wanna call it, it literally drives me out of the room and I just leave, I go home. Most of the time, people don't even know I have left, you know, I I I just leave, and sometimes they'll call and say, "What happened?" and sometimes they won't. But most of the people that I knew or know sometimes I still take those kind of panic attack thingies. But like I said, not as much and not as frequent or as bad. But sometimes they can grab you by the and and I just have to leave. And I am cured as far as I am because of the work I've done on myself. Um, as I have written on, I think 3 of your um, YouTube channel posts that you've done, I really am trying to lift myself up out of poverty. I am trying to learn and understand what you are teaching and saying about the law of attraction and um, well, I guess everything else that goes with it. I did write on one of your posts or one of your videos on your YouTube channel about a movie called "What the Bleep Do We Know." It's an old movie. It came out in I think the late '90s. I still have it on VHS cassette or tape, so that should tell you how long ago it really come out. I watch it every once in a while. If I knew how, they have it here on YouTube. You can find it if you really look for it. It's just what the bleep do we know, and it talks about quantum physics and the observer effect. And there's other neat things. If you watch the whole movie, it's about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours long. It's a good movie. It will make you think. But as I've spoken to other people and tell them when they ask me, "Do I believe in God?" I say yes, but not the God that they believe in, because there's more to it than that. You know, if you do a little bit of studying, you do know that the Vatican churches have hidden 14 books of the gospel from the people of the world. Why? Because it goes into more detail of things that really are. And just like Jake Ducey says, well, the power elites don't want us people, we little people, to know, which is a sin in and of itself. Again, like, and I am sorry if let me get this down a little bit. I am sorry if I mispronounce and over enunciate things. I'm still getting used to these. these days, but at least I'm trying, you know. And Jake, I really do wish I could hear from you and ask you some questions about the law of attraction and how someone like me could get it to work just a little bit faster because of right as of right now, I just don't have the funds to pay for your courses, and that's why I watch your YouTube videos. I've downloaded a few of them, the ones that YouTube will let me download. I don't know why they won't let me download them. Maybe because I can't afford their monthly fee of joining. What is it? YouTube Red or something. It's nonsense. I know I don't have enough uh, subscribers or anything to try to monetize my YouTube videos. That's well, this I just wanted to make this YouTube live video strictly for Jake Ducey. If he'll see it, I don't know if he will. A long time ago, when I first heard about him, I can't even remember how I heard about him. I was just looking for things, and it's like God or the light or something just put him right there. It's hard to explain. But ever since then, every day I try to listen to his YouTube posts and stuff, and I'm trying to learn the best that I can so far. Let me put it that way. I can only do so much at a time. And as I wrote on his latest post, I guess you would call it, people like me who literally own nothing. I have nothing. Well, I own this mic, this laptop. You know, this old laptop took me 5 years to save up to get, and it only cost. I got lucky. What was it? 4 years ago at Walmart. It was on that Black Friday. And this is just before my mom really felt ill. She was with us. And it was on what they call the Black Friday sales at Walmart. And I walked up and I was like, "Well, I'm looking for a laptop that I can." No, like the dude was great. He's like, "Here you go. It's 179 because it's a left. It was left over from the Black Friday or something like that. So that's what they sold it for me. It was $179 plus tax and all that. So it was like 200 some. But literally it took me that long to save up enough money to buy it for myself. You know, that's I haven't really got a Christmas gift from so-called family member or anybody for years, and I mean years. Other than garbage that I don't need, paste and toothbrushes, socks and underwear, crap that I don't need. I still got a pack of socks that I haven't even opened, and I got them maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I don't throw nothing away until they literally fall off my feet or off my shoulders, or I just don't like to waste things. And I'm sorry for rambling, dude. But again, this is for Jake Ducey. Um, oh, excuse me. That is why I did write that you lied about people. Well, anybody and everybody who can add this to their budget or can afford that program. Well, that's a lie because everybody can. Like me, who I would truly love to be able to purchase it and learn, but I don't I don't have $997. Like you always say, most Americans can't even come up with $500 in 24 hours for an emergency, and yet you want them to come up with basically 997 dollars, basically $1,000 in a day to buy your product. Doesn't that seem kind of odd? Doesn't that seem kind of a little hypocritical, I would say. That may be the wrong terminology for it, but you seem to say one thing and then you try to push people into buying your product that costs $1,000, or you say that most people can afford it. Well, most people can't. Now, the ones that already have money can afford your product. That's all I'm saying. If you truly mean what you say and are trying to teach, why don't you give it away? Why don't you give free courses to people? Why are you overcharging someone like that? I don't understand. And I, like I said, I don't mean no disrespect or dishonor towards you. To me, it just seems a little hypocritical when you speak of manifestation and faith and hope and doing this and doing that, and then on the other hand, you'll turn around and charge somebody $1,000 for your product. And the only people that can afford that are people that are already wealthy. That is not what you say by you saying you're trying to lift up people that are poor. Well, poor people cannot afford $1,000. Poor people can't even afford $500. Poor people can't afford $200. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. That's all I wanted to say. I'm just trying to put things into perspective that you might have lost because of your wealth that you have now, that you've had for a few years. That seems to happen to some people. They'll speak of their past and what they've gone through, but from everything in the videos that I've seen so far that you've posted and talked about, yeah, you might have been struggling, but you were living well. You and your wife were living well. She wasn't your wife then, Ashley. You were living well if you can take off and go for a weekend to these extravagant hotels and have a 2 or 3 day little vacation. You were doing well. I see. I People like me can't. I haven't been literally on vacation in over 20 some years. Sorry, it's these teeth. So I just want you to think about some things like that, dude. You know, uh, and if you do contact me, please don't call me sir. I haven't earned that title yet. I'm trying to. Uh, but my name's Brian, and I hope this records like it's supposed to. I hope everything works. I've never done a YouTube live video like this. This is the first time I'm trying it. Usually, I do my live streaming using the Haps TV app. Um, I still have a connection to Restream, but it's the free version and it don't do much. And I'm trying to run a podcast using Anchor, but Anchor will not allow, excuse me, allow me to monetize my podcast. Basically, because I'm poor. I don't know. I do not have a bank account. I am too poor to own a bank account or keep one because usually a bank account you have to keep. I think it's up to $200 in it at all times. Well, being is that I only get $750 a month to live on after paying bills, buying food. I'm lucky to have $50 left over. And the way the cost of living has been going up, that's even getting worse. So that's just basic truth, basic fact. You know, I have no savings. I own nothing, have nothing. So, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. Hopefully, somebody will see my broadcast that I do and pick me up like they did Joe Rogan. Well, Joe Rogan was already a multimillionaire before he started his podcast. And the only real difference between me and him is that I won't lie about nothing. I won't lie for myself. I won't lie for anyone or for any reason or for anything. Sorry about the lighting. I'm trying to figure out a way to. Yeah, it's a drywaller's pan light. That's what it's called. But I'm trying. Alrighty. Well, this has been 20 minutes and 35 seconds. I'm going to sign off. Jake Ducey, I hope you see this and listen and try to understand what I'm trying to say to you, because I do believe in what you're teaching. I do believe in what you say. That's why I watch as much as I can. Uh, and again, I am sorry for your loss of Mr. Proctor. And I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother. You and they are in my prayers. And so I just wish to say, take care of yourselves and each other. Much love, peace, and honor to all. Peace.